Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, all my lovely listeners, and welcome to episode 66 of The Social Circus. Today, I am so privileged to be joined by one of my favorite clients, and I know you're not supposed to say that, but she definitely ranks as a favorite. And I'm sure after you've heard her story today, you're going to see exactly why. So please give a warm welcome to the lovely Priya from Punar. Welcome, Priya.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. And as I always said to you, I thank the Boosting Female Founders grant, which did a stuff up, but then they fixed it by connecting me to you. And I think that was one of the biggest, blessings for me. So thank you for having me. Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. And I know that you came through one of the government programs, Boosting Female Founders, and you actually didn't win the grant. And I was your consolation prize, wasn't I?
Yes, that's right.
So we've been coaching together. Is it a year? Must be nearly a year.
Yeah, more than a year now.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell so all my listeners, because I love to hear this, and your story I know will particularly strike with people. What motivated you to start Punar, and where did you come from because you're now an e-commerce business, but where did you start and what was your vision with it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, to be honest, I have zero sales background and probably zero marketing background, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come from technology industry. I did electronics and microengineering. My postgraduate studies also masters of business and information technology systems. So you can imagine all my life I've been in the corporate world. I'm running projects, programs, and looking after IT portfolios, business and IT projects, just to make sure rolling out systems and applications to make people's lives better, right?
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, obviously, all these things are happening, and the same narrative I've always told myself, oh, I'm doing, meaningful things, and I'm fulfilled, and keeping myself busy. But in the back of my mind, I'm all about gender diversity and inclusion and equal opportunities and equal pay for women. That is it's one of my core value systems, right?
Yes.
And I also come from India. I came to Australia as a teenager. I did my university here, and I've stayed back for the last 23 and odd years. I call this country my home. So I've got two beautiful homes. But I'm aware of how there are a lot of communities of women in India where they still rely on traditional ways where the man's the main breadwinner, and if they're not, the marriage is not well, they can't really get out of it because they're not self-sufficient, and they feel kind of trapped. There's domestic violence and whole other things that comes out of that. Once I had my daughter, and I'm thinking, look, basic things like housing, better school, and other things like that, which we can provide our children here in Australia. I'm how difficult it must be for women in India, especially the ones who come from difficult socio-economic background with very little formal education. So it kind of got me, really into kind of this reflective mode. And fortunately, in 2019, through my networks, I found out these amazing women entrepreneurs back in India who were actually using recycled yarn that comes from upcycling landfill textile waste, using that and hand weaving using the handloom machinery, and that doesn't use electricity, right? So you hand weave fabrics, beautiful, gorgeous fabrics like the one, which is just on my screen behind. And then, you can make various things, whether it's bags, towels, tea towels, or any other, homeware, gifts, you name it. So I was I really want to do something about it, right? And that's where things started ticking. This was all the seed thought before a little something called COVID hit all of us in 2020, right? But during COVID, a few things that happened. which really, really made me reevaluate my life. I experienced a very personal loss in 2021 when India was going through a massive, sort of COVID wave.
Yes.
I lost someone very, very special to me. Out of that pain, I've taken that pain and turned it around into living my life purpose, because the person who I lost, my uncle, was all about community, building communities, caring for communities, innovating in the communities, and also elevating everybody in the community to next level. So I'm like, why am I stopping myself when I have an opportunity to enrich the lives of these women artisans in India and also their communities, right? So I have this great opportunity. So that's when I'm like, I'm not going to sit behind, hiding behind all these busy, meaningful, fulfilling narrative. Rather, I'll go after my purpose. And that's when I got started. I applied for the government grant. At the first, we got an email saying, you've won, you've been selected. And then they go, oops, sorry. No, that's not the case. And then, obviously I'm like, what is happening? And then they straight away connected me to you. And rest is history, because, you've helped me with the launch plan and, helped me with the, sort of preparing for the pre-launch and the actual launch. So,
yes.
Yeah, so, and here we are having a conversation today. What a story. Yeah.
I know. So when you kind of got exposed to all of these, being Indian yourself and then knowing what was going on there, and particularly, God, I was getting emotional when you talk about your uncle, even though I know that story. That kind of trigger to help us live on purpose is so important. And so now with Punar and your homewares that you create, can you tell us how that production process happens in India and what does that look like? Because I think it's really important to hear that. I think it's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Just sort of, and the women, they work so hard, right? So it's just always say, look, all I'm doing is probably facilitating. I'm just trying to be the face, but all the hard work is done by them. So with Punar, what we do is, contractually, we only engage ethical enterprises, right, where they have a guaranteed more than 70% women artisans working, and they're also being paid fair wages. So that's where, in terms of like equal pay, equal work, that's great, but it's also fair wages. So there's no, sort of differentiation between them and their male counterpart. What I've also done is when I get the master contract agreement with the social enterprises that are engaged back in India, this becomes one of the key things in our contract as well, about the ethical production, making sure the workers are only working set hours with adequate breaks, and then they're getting paid the fair wages. So obviously contractually we are tracking all this. So what is, our lovely ladies, there's various things that happen. First thing is, all starts with the beautiful recycled yarn that again comes from India. So and now I'm on a quest to track the source of that landfill textile waste as well, where it's coming from, because I've been told that Australia is one of the top 5 exporter of those wastes. So now trying to trace that back. So it's in the kind of work in progress. But however, what they do is, that recycled yarn is definitely, again, made in India. It is the finest quality yarn made in facilities which are like, sort of GRC, the recycling accreditation, which you can go through. So these are the facilities, that's where the yarn comes from.
So just to stop you, Priya, just so everyone knows, because I know you know this business so well, what you're saying is essentially your homewares are made from something that would have ended up in landfill, that would have been yarn waste or fabric waste.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would have been the textile waste, which would have just gone as a landfill somewhere, right? Whereas now the yarn from that is taken and made into something, this
beautiful, your beautiful tea towels and things. Yeah. I love that, because I think so many of us, I think particularly in Western cultures, we are so incredibly guilty of endless consumption in those horrible companies like Shen that sell this really cheap just this fast fashion, and we contribute to all of that. And if we could see what happens to the products that don't get sold, and those mountains of like clothing waste in these countries, and it's out of sight, out of mind for us here in Australia. So I'm not surprised we're in the top 5 contributors. I'm surprised we're not, but I guess we're not the biggest country, but that's really embarrassing. So essentially your product starts with these beautiful facilities where you have all these ethical standards, and then you're taking what would have been landfill and waste and creating something beautiful. So please continue, my lovely.
Oh, no, thank you. That's so eloquently put, because I know I get very passionate and I get carried away with the whole story, because I could talk till the cows come home, right?
I
because
know.
it is such a, and it's, as I always say with this one, it's good for people and planet. That's the, you know, the utmost satisfaction we get. So yes, something, the textile waste, which could have ended up as a landfill, instead of that, we're using the yarn made out of that comes to, you know, these our social enterprises or my suppliers back in India. And what happens is that then it goes into yarn dyeing, and once again it gives me so much pleasure. It's very rigorously managed. Everything is natural dye. And so that's why, you know, there's no toxins, there's no chemicals and stuff like that. And even once they weave this yarn using just, you know, it's manual labor or hard work that goes in, no electricity. So this is almost like a zero emission fabric.
Wow.
Right? Because with every 100 meters, there's 92 kgs of CO2 that is stopped from being released into atmosphere. And right now, can I rattle it all off?
Yeah, go. I love it.
I'm so excited, because since launching, what we've done is we've made 900 incredibly beautiful, handcrafted, sustainable, and ethically made tea towels that has used 121 kilos of landfill textile waste, or else that would have been the waste sitting on the land, but that's turned into, you know, these beautiful products.
Oh, Priya, take a breath. Can I just say, you should be so proud of that. That is, you are actually changing the world. So well done. Carry on, my lovely.
Thank you. And also, we've paid fair wages for 405 meters of handloom fabric, you know, that's been woven by the artisans. So completely. So there were 4 weavers. I can tell you their names, you know, show about the customer. Yeah, you know, and then I can tell you a bit about their background, because we've gotten permission as well to speak a bit about them, but I'll keep it generic because obviously I don't want to name names. But 2 of them are actually single mothers with children. So with the money, you know, we paid them. That's the thing, you know, it goes to their good quality living, you know, sending their kids to better schools, buying them textbooks, and, you know, all those kind of things. So there's a lot of good that's happening, not just environmentally, but also socially, right? Like I love that. Yeah, that's right. And another interesting thing which we don't talk about, Sarah, guess what? Cotton, right? Even if it's like any kind of organic cotton, there's a lot of water that goes into growing cotton, processing it, and turning into yarn. Whereas if you just take the landfill waste, turn it into yarn, and then use that in the products, just to date, we have saved 510,000 liters of water, just because, you know, it's recycled cotton, that 30%, you know, recycled cotton yarn component that we've used. Just by keeping it 30% recycled yarn component, we were able to save 510,000 liters of water. So you can just imagine the difference, you know, that we are making here. Yeah,
it's huge. And it's Priya, I have to say this, and there are so many big companies, like you are doing what we would all dream is possible. And I really wish that these larger manufacturers would look at what you're doing, because if you can do it on your small budget, on your small scale, it should be possible for them to do this, and it should be possible for us to demand better. And I guess the problem is that we're so price conscious, which is why those websites like Shen do so well, because you look at them, you see the ads all the time, and you're like, oh my gosh, is that top really $9? And you should ask yourself, how is that made at that price? That is not something you want to be contributing to. So I guess we do have to make choices, and our wallet tells people what we're prepared to do. And if we continue to buy this this fast fashion, we are telling the companies we accept these terrible conditions that you're doing. So
That's correct, Sarah. And also, look, I completely get it. Like, everybody is on a journey here. So it's not about perfection. So, and that's what, we often talk about too, right? But what I also want to flag is you go for a cheaper product. Guess what, Sarah? Guess what? It ends up back in the landfill in no time, right?
Yes, because it wears away out and things.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, use and throw, use and dispose. Whereas with us, what we have is, circularity, right? It is at the heart of our creations. These products, they are such good quality. And I think I tell you, it gives me so much joy, like for a startup to receive like 13 5-star Google reviews in a span of 6 to 8 months. That's kind of
amazing. It is amazing.
real users, right? Because even after multiple washes, it's soft, it retains, its texture. It's not your, use and throw kind of thing. We're making products to last. So, and that's where you got to think about, do you want to keep buying? Think about that $9 top and how many $9 are you spending in a year? Whereas as opposed to if you pay a higher price, but if you buy something that was made ethically and also that's sustainable. I have a story behind this dress actually that I'm wearing. Guess what? This is it's 9.5 years old. This was made from my mom's old sari.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's amazing. And we need to all be
wearing too. Yeah.
We need to be doing more of that. And I'm a op shop lover, and I have to have the time and be in the mood. But my youngest son, I've got him totally addicted to op shopping, and he loves finding unusual things that I think he feels like he's wearing that other people aren't wearing, which I think is great fun as well. But if we could take and change these habits, and I guess one of the reasons why I've had you on at the moment, Priya, is because obviously July is Plastic-Free July, and I really want to shine a light on what your business is doing in terms of sustainability, and I really want to inspire people to try and do better, because what you are doing is every time I work with you, I leave thinking I have so much gratitude to be part of the journey that your business is on, because I get to, through you, have that impact as well. But from our perspective, I guess we have that idea that it's all or nothing. I either have to do it perfectly or I don't do anything. Whereas if we just made simple choices, and I will share with everyone, because if you've worked with me, attended one of my retreats or something, you have highly likely received one of Punars tea towels. But I have consciously chosen to purchase your tea towels as part of my corporate gifting, because I know that makes me feel really good that I'm supporting your business and the women behind that. But I'm also sharing it with other people to kind of get them to think about doing the same. So from your perspective, actually, we missed this. We didn't even tell people what Punar meant.
No, that's what I said. We could talk till the cows come home, isn't it? Because it's such a hoot, and also can I say thank you for such kind words, and I want to flag, you are our first business gifting customer, remember? And that's how you got me started on this corporate and business gifting kind of adventure journey as well. And now I'm getting so many inquiries, and obviously, people are kind of getting ready now that, by the time, Christmas will already be around the corner.
Yes.
But you chose Punar because this is what, right, Sarah, I could give you clear information right from who made it to statistics, the actual real data and the real impact that you can track, which ties back to your company's, sort of the corporate social responsibility that you have, and, just sort of they're your goals, and you were able to meet the goals because you chose to support us. We were able to work with you. So, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. I told you, it's because of you we have ventured into this, corporate and business.
I know, I love that. And I think I'm really excited to see where you'll be in 12 months time, because to me, you're making corporate gifting really easy, because the choice is I can buy this product and it says all the things I want it to say, and it's no effort. That's the dream, isn't it?
But you're supporting, that's such a main thing. But in terms of Punar, the reason I chose the word is Punar is a very it's a word from an ancient Indian language, Sanskrit language, which is close to over 2,500 years old language. So it takes me back to my roots. So that's why I was
Yes.
so happy to name it, using a word from our, origin, cultural origin.
Yes.
Punar means again. So it's often used in the context of rejuvenation or rebirth. And I've chosen the word because couldn't think of any better way to sort of honor the recycled yarn that's giving waste a new life in the form of beautiful products that we are making. And two, we're also helping our women start a new life. They're upskilling and they're starting a new life of their own. So it's kind of rebirth in multiple ways, but let's look at it environmentally or from people's perspective. So couldn't have thought of any other better word. Yeah, that's
absolutely
right.
I do love the name. I've loved it from day one.
Yes.
And so I guess as we wrap up, what's next for Punar, and what's your vision for, like, because I know you've had a very successful launch. You have everything as an e-commerce brand that you are doing as an amazing side hustle to your corporate job and having a young daughter. So what would you love to see happen with Punar over the next 12 months and beyond?
Over the next 12 months, I want to sort of be a bit more prominent in the corporate and business gifting space, because again, I'm this data person, right? And you're going to love this. The gifting industry, right? Business, corporate gifting, and also general, gifting industry, $242 billion industry, and of which the survey conducted just as of earlier in March 2023, the data says 54% of the recipients say they take the gift, it goes in the trash, not even reuse, because they're just so fed up that they can't use it anymore, ends up in the trash. And also 40% of the business and corporate gifting actually ends up as landfill. So Punar wants to disrupt this industry. So I'm already looking at US, UK, and other markets because there is interest now. So I want to change the landscape of corporate and business gifting market. We'll still have products for people to buy on our website. It's not about that. But the reason I'm going down this path is companies spend money towards gifts, right? So do they want to be spending money towards making more landfill, or do they want to be spending money towards, creating impact? So because their impact is environmental and also social, they're going to uplift our women and their communities, and they're also going to be solving the problem of landfill textile waste. So that's the whole reason we love partnering with businesses like you, Sarah, where you share the similar brand value and, ethics, where you want to do great and good for the community while making money as well. There's nothing wrong in making money. I'm not saying no to that, but I think it's the concept of doing good as well. You can easily incorporate. You just need to look in the right place and partner with the right suppliers, right? And that's where we come in. So that's my plan for the next 12 months. So wish me luck.
Look, I don't think you need it, to be honest, because I'm certain that it's going to all become true. And I guess one of the things that you mentioned about, because you're so good at project management, you're such a dream to run your business. I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. And I'm excited to see your range grow, because I know that you have your beautiful turmeric as your sort of foundation color, and then you introduce the blue, which I also love. But it's really exciting to see your business grow and flourish, and to see where that's going to take you and your life, because I'm love to have you back in 12 months to hear how it's all gone. But I want to just say, Priya, thank you so much for giving up your time to talk to me. Thank you for sharing your journey and your story with my listeners. So just feel free to give your website a little plug so they can come and buy your beautiful products.
Oh, thank you. We are at punar.com.au, and Instagram we are at punar.co. We are on Facebook as well, same at punar.co. Any support, I just want to assure people that, look, it's going back into the community. So you're doing something good for people and the planet. And thank you so much for having me, Sarah. It's how do I say, it's such a pleasure that I got this connection to you. And then every time I talk to you, you're always expanding my horizon and making me think bigger. And can I say again, it's because of you, not just going into business and corporate gifting. You are the one who made me to say it's fine. Look in other markets as well. And I'm now like brave enough to talk to people in US and UK through my network. And it's because you always give me that boost. And that's what I love about you, because you kind of elevate women around you. And that's why you're such a fabulous business advisor and business coach. So, and Sam, you're a dream to work with. And
oh my gosh.
Again,
thank you for
having me.
I hope you listeners have enjoyed our absolute love in. As you can see, Priya and I dearly enjoy working together and have so much respect for each other. And it is a delight. I sincerely hope every single one of you listening goes and checks out her beautiful tea towels and homewares range. Please support her, because we want to make a bigger impact in everything that we do. Priya, thank you for your time today and being my special guest on the Social Circus.
Thank you, Sarah.
Pleasure. And to my listeners, I will catch you the same time next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.